Alright guys, first and foremost, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I do truly appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you clicking on the video as well. Now for today's video, what we're going to be talking about is whether Ganyu is a main DPS or a support character. I got this question a lot in my live stream yesterday, and so I wanted to do a video on it because I can see that some people are still confused on what she is. Now keep in mind, this is just my take on Ganyu and what I think, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. And she will be dropping tomorrow, so I'm super excited about that. I will be going live for those polls, so I hope to see you there. Now the really quick answer, if you want to know right off the bat what I think and don't want to go in depth with me, right off the bat I think she's a main DPS, and I will go into the reasons why I think that, but that's what I think. And I think around the community there's been a lot of talks of Ganyu being just a support character, especially if you don't go into constellations with her, if you just have her at C0 and things of that nature. But I don't think that is accurate, and I actually believe that's the furthest from the truth. And once again, this is just my opinion, so I would love for you to go in the comments down below and let me know what you guys think. But I think she's a main DPS character, and we're going to jump into the reasons why. So if we take a look at the stat progressions, it is crit damage. That is her stat progression. Now I also wanted to quickly mention before we go any further that because Ganyu is a bow cryo user and that her stat progression is crit damage, she's very versatile in that aspect, and she's going to be able to be anything that you want her to be. So what do I mean by that is that if you want her to be a main DPS, you can build her that way. If you want her to be a main support character for you, you can build her that way. Or if you want her to be kind of middle of the road, you can build her that way. She's very versatile and she can fit any role or multiple roles that you would need for your team. But if you're asking me what I think she primarily is I think she's a main DPS because her stat progression is crit damage, which means with it being crit damage and going into the rest of the kit that we're going to go into here in just a second, you can really build up her damage. And so her base attack as well, being at 311 at level 80, is the highest base attack stat out of bow users, and I think it's on par with the Luke. So right there alone allows her to be a very strong hitter. Now if you take a look at her percentages on her attacks for her charge, her Frostflake Arrow and Frostflake Bloom, Frostflake Arrow Bloom damage, it's off the charts. She's going to be doing some nutty numbers, guys, and I think people are kind of underestimating how hard I think she's actually going to hit based off of these numbers and based off of what she's going to be able to do. Her Celestial Shower is going to be absolutely amazing as well. It doesn't have the highest numbers associated with it, but I think she's still going to be able to hit hard. She's able to taunt as well and be able to do some damage there also. So it's very, very catered towards Ganyu being a main DPS. Now going into her kit a little bit further, so we talked about her stat progression being crit damage, her base attack being the highest out of all bow users, on par with the Luke. Because her stat progression is crit damage, you can then start looking into building that up as high as possible, because with what you can apply to her, she's gonna have naturally high crit rate. So if we take a look at the Blizzard Strayer set, that is going to provide Ganyu, if you apply the set to her, with a crit rate by 20%, and then if the enemy is frozen, an additional crit rate by 20% even further. If we go back into her kit just in general, under her passive skill, after firing a Frostflake Arrow, the crit rate of subsequent Frostflake arrows and the resulting bloom effects is increased by 20%. So she's getting another 20% off of the passive right there in the aspect of her Frostflake Arrow. So if we take that in combination with the Blizzard Strayer set, you're already getting 60%, and that's just based off of the artifact that you apply on her, the set, and just based off of her passive talent. That is absolutely amazing. So right there you're getting tons of crit rate, and then you can start to build her crit damage up as high as you possibly want it to be, which means she's going to be able to crit often, and then when she does crit, she's gonna be doing some crazy numbers. And I think people fail to realize how that all comes into play. Then you also have weapons like the Black Cliff Warbow, which has the crit damage percentage as the sub base stat right there. So you're going to be able to get that even higher. Or if you go with the Amos Bow, I think that has attack on it just naturally, so you can do that. So it is actually going to be quite ridiculous. And then if we take a look at the Elemental Resonance, if you have 2 cryos, increases crit rate against enemies that are frozen or affected by cryo by an additional 15%. So if you go with the Resonance, you go with the Blizzard Strayer set, and then you go with her passive, we're looking at already, what, 75% in crit rate alone just based off of that. That's not even going into when you start to level up and you know, put the artifacts on with crit rate, how high that can get naturally. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty nutty. And then if we do even, and so that's even before we get into constellations or anything of that nature. So that's why I said a C0 Ganyu is gonna be hitting for some crazy numbers and is going to be able to act as a main DPS, because when you start to look at team builds, which is a video that I did previously, you can check out the team build video that I did. You can have other characters on the team that gather the enemies up for you, like Venti, like Sucrose, gather them up. You can keep them all in one spot. Then you can pop her E skill to taunt them to keep them there. Then you can go ahead and pop her Elemental Burst to be able to keep them in that Celestial Shower, be able to do the damage there. And then you can start firing off charge shots, because they're already going to be all grouped together, sitting there, taunted, getting hit by the Celestial Shower. Now you're firing off charge shots, and you can start to see how things are going to be going crazy. And then when she does the level 2, and it does that Frostblade arrow, and then once it blooms, it's dealing even more damage. We're looking at, when that blooms at level 8, 348%. It's going to be nuts, guys. It's absolutely going to be nuts. And then if we take a look at her other passive talent, the Celestial Shower grants a 20% cryo damage bonus to active party members in the AoE. And then if we take a look at just even C1 with the Dew Drinker, taking damage from a charge level 2 Frostblade Arrow Bloom decreases the opponent's cryo resistance by 15% for 6 seconds. A hit regenerates 2 energy for Ganyu. So you're getting more energy back, and you're decreasing their resistance to your cryo, so then you're doing even more damage with that. Guys, she's a main DPS. She is a main DPS until I'm told otherwise or shown proof otherwise. She is a main DPS, and she's going to be absolutely fantastic as a main DPS. I don't know where the supporting thing was coming from, or all of a sudden was coming from. I mean, I understand what they're stating in that aspect, that she has supporting capabilities, like she can be that supporting character for you. But that's where I said her versatility comes into play, to where she can be that, but also be a main DPS. She can be whatever you need her to be, and it depends on your build and your team comps and the way you go ahead and synergize that all together. But all in all, when you really dissect her kit, when you really look into it and you start to get a full understanding of what she's all about, guys, she's a main DPS. And that's how I'm gonna be building her, as a main DPS. So I hope this video helped. I hope this gives some more information or insight on Ganyu, or if you just weren't sure what she was exactly for you, hopefully this clears it up. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. It's gonna be an absolutely fantastic time. But remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, until next time, it's your homie Cody, and I'm out. Bye, guys.